Good day, here are the top stories from the Pna Headlines. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and Singaporean Prime Minister Lawrence Wong have agreed to strengthen diplomatic and economic ties between the Philippines and Singapore. During a bilateral meeting in Malacanang on Wednesday, Marcos and Wong discussed strengthening cooperation in renewable energy, healthcare, digital transformation, and regional integration. The two leaders also committed to work together as the Philippines assumes chairmanship of ASEAN in 2026. In a joint statement, Marcos said Wong's visit demonstrates the robust ties between Filipinos and Singaporeans. Wong is in Manila for a two-day state visit, his first visit to the Philippines since assuming office. The Philippines and Singapore are marking 56 years of diplomatic relations this year. Meanwhile, the Department of Foreign Affairs expressed its vision of stronger ties with African states as the Philippines celebrated Africa Day on Wednesday. As part of a new foreign policy, Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrique Manalo announced the DFA's plans to open a new embassy in Ghana. Foreign Affairs Assistant Secretary for Middle East and African Affairs Herminia Aguilar Usudan said this aligns with the DFA's goal to enhance people-to-people engagement and tap the vast potential of the region in trade, investment, and labor. Moroccan Ambassador to the Philippines Mohamed Rida El Fassi meanwhile acknowledged the Philippine government's efforts to engage the region more. El Fassi highlighted opportunities for trade and investment through its vast natural resources, dynamic economies, and growing markets such as renewable energy. He also welcomed efforts to open new areas of cooperation and promote initiatives such as joint business forums, cultural festivals, and educational programs. The Philippines' inflation rate eased further in May as it dropped at 1.3% based on data from the Philippine Statistics Authority or PSA. Last month's inflation rate slightly decreased from 1.4% in April and from 3.9% in May 2024. The inflation rate was the lowest since November 2019 when it settled in at 1.2%. It brought the year-to-date rate to 1.9%, slightly below the government ceiling of 2 to 4% for the entire of 2025. May's inflation rate was also consistent with the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas' forecast on 0.9 to 1.7% range. National statistician Claire Dennis Mapa said the decrease resulted from the slower increase in costs of housing, water, electricity, gas, and other fuels. The PSA also noted a decrease in the Restaurant and Accommodation Services Index, transport, and the Furnishing, Household Equipment, and Routine Household Maintenance Index. Meanwhile, food inflation in May remained steady at 0.7% from 6.1% in the same month last year. Rice inflation remained low at negative 12.8%. Core inflation was at 2.2% as compared to 3.1% last year. Philippine National Police Chief General Nicolas Torre III has announced plans to use advanced tools and investigative techniques for crime solving in line with President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.'s directive to modernize the police force. During a palace press briefing, Torre said forensic and scientific evidence will be the main focus of modern law enforcement. He said police officers will make full use of body cameras in the field as well as drones to improve patrols and surveillance. Torre emphasized the role of science and technology in his efforts to modernize the police force, which is a key component of his reforms aimed to enhance the credibility, responsiveness, and technological capabilities of the PNP. Most areas in the country can expect rains throughout the day due to the southwest monsoon or habagat and the trough of a low-pressure area. Pag-asa said the LPA being monitored outside the Philippine area of responsibility is unlikely to develop into a tropical cyclone. However, its trough will bring scattered rains and thunderstorms over eastern Samar, Leyte, southern Leyte, Dinagat Islands, and Surigao del Norte. The habagat will also bring rainy conditions over Ilocos Region, Cordillera Administrative Region, Batanes, Babuyan Islands, Zambales, Bataan, Palawan, Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. Moderate to heavy rains in these areas could result in floods or even landslides. Meanwhile, the rest of the country can expect isolated rain showers caused by habagat and localized thunderstorms. And in our business news, the Department of Agriculture, or DA, assures that the hog sector is prepared against the possible resurgence of African swine fever, or ASF, during the rainy season. DA spokesperson Assistant Secretary Arnel de Mesa said hog raisers are ready this rainy season along with the looming threat of ASF in the third quarter. He noted that the government rollout of AVAC live vaccines from Vietnam is ongoing in Central Luzon and Calabarzon. The vaccination has significantly reduced the ASF cases in the country as barangays with active cases of ASF declined to 45 in 16 cities and municipalities from 67 barangays on May 9. De Mesa said that based on the experience of the DA, local government units and stakeholders, the vaccines are effective in the affected areas. Meanwhile, Air India is set to roll out its non-stop direct flights from Manila to Delhi starting October 1st. Air India service to Manila will operate weekly on Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays using the airline's Airbus A321neo aircraft. This comes as the Philippines introduces visa-free entry for Indian tourists for up to 14 days. The Indian Embassy in Manila welcomed the development, citing the benefits of direct flights for tourism and people-to-people links between the two states. The Philippine tourism industry is working to tap into the huge Indian outbound market and offset the decrease in Chinese inbound travelers. Around 79,000 Indian visitors traveled to the Philippines in 2024. And those are the latest and the biggest stories from the PNA headlines. For more news updates, visit our website pna.gov.ph or our Facebook and X account, Philippine News Agency. The PNA Headlines is also streamed via the Serbisyo Facebook page. You may also watch the PNA Headlines through the Philippine News Agency's YouTube account and via the News and Information Bureau website under PNA News. I am William Theo. This is the PNA Headlines, bringing you stories that unite the nation.